long as I got a breath left in me.
This program is brought to you by the NHRA Wally Parks Motorsports Museum. Round number 1, top fuel eliminator. The first pair, Troy Green, the Silver Fins Bearing high-speed motorsports entry. The Tom Shillar Walt Stevens tuned ride. He will be in the Auto Club lane, the lane closest to us. Shannon Stewart, Bob Richardson, circuit breaker out of Riverside. Stewart, the contract, wheeling this top fuel dragster. Troy Green taking over the driving charge of the high-speed motorsports entry from Sean Bellemere. That is your national Hot Rod Reunion champion, the white car. So Troy Green and Shannon Stewart, first pair, round 1, top fuel eliminator. Troy Green away first. Ball of fire. The win light goes to Shannon Stewart, 589.4, 228 miles an hour. Troy Green was right there at 599.7, 246 in a losing entry. The next pair, we continue on in Top Fuel Eliminator. The Full Throttle News Top Fuel Dragster of Rick Rogers. Up against one of the bad cars, your number 1 qualifier, Brad Thompson, out of Visalia. The LG Blast Top Fuel Dragster. Rick Rogers completing his burnout in the Full Throttle News entry out of Santa Margarita on the Central California Gold Coast. Brad Thompson, your number 1 qualifier and one of the few nostalgic top fuel cars that's running the 570. And Brad Thompson, long gone, but clicks it early and runs 590 at just 212 miles an hour. Rick Rogers coming on the top end. 6'11", 238 miles an hour in a losing effort. Mike Mclennan doing his burnout, the Mike Fuller Motorsports ride. Mikey, the new driver, taking over for Bill Dunlap, who retired this year. In fact, Bill Dunlap, the only driver that Mike Fuller has ever had at the wheel of any of his race cars. Goes up against the defending champion, Jim Murphy. The WW2 Green Dragster out of Santa Rosa. Tim Beebe, the crew chief on Jim Murphy's car. And that is one of the few cars in Top Fuel Eliminator to get a 570 elapsed time. They're pre-staged. Murphy, deep stage. That'll hurt elapsed time a little bit, but he's long gone. Jim Murphy, your defending champion. 587, 240 miles an hour. Mclennan clicking the Fuller Motorsports entry early, losing at 616 to 212. Good matchup here in this pair. Howard Haight, Fagawi Howie, wheel of Butch Blair's Fagawi car. Howie, a former Southern California resident, now residing in Brownsburg, Indiana. Rolls up with Butch Blair's car. And another one of the 570 players, Adam Saroka, the Brian Van Dyke. Bobby Mclennan, tuned dragster. Now, this is one of the cars that's been in the 570s. But since they had a problem with the car about 3 months ago at Sacramento, there seems to be the car just a little bit off tick. But Adam and Howie ready to go here. Crew members turn the computer on, walk away from the cars, and it's all up to the drivers now. And check out Adam Saroka. Right back into the 570s, 576, and may have clicked it early, only 231 miles an hour. Fagawi Howie, 618, and he did click it early at just 196 miles an hour. Brett Harris, Kaysville, Utah, the Nitro Thunder Dragster. This car has more 260-mile-an-hour time slips than anybody else in Top Fuel Eliminator. He goes up against Dave Smith, Nitro Fever Dragster out of Sacramento. the Sacramento Raceway Pack Rest Trailer Special of Jason Richie. Jason, a former Automobile Club of Southern California Hot Rod Reunion champion in the A Fuel category, took over the driving chores of this Nitro Fever car out of Sacramento about a year and a half ago, and this car has been a hitter. But the Nitro Thunder car out of Kaysville, Utah, Brad Harris is one of them big-time hitters. Both drivers into the pre-stage feed. Roll forward about 10 inches, and they'll light the second light. That'll let the starter know that the drivers are ready to go. A flip of the switch, a flash yellow, green light. $588,249, and I'd have to say that's a little bit of an upset there, as Brett Harris was one of the pre-race favorites, but slowed to a 6:02 at 237 miles an hour. And another California-Utah matchup. Pete Kaiser, John Eric's Dragster, and Scott Mason, the sudden impact Dragster. Mason, one of the guys who runs the Big Block Chevrolet, a former crew member on Brett Harris's car, said, man, that looks pretty cool. I think I want to be a driver and build one of his own cars. So the Big Block Chevrolet up against the Donovan 417 Hemi. Both these cars, 5-second, 250-mile-an-hour runners. Mason was away first, but Pete Kaiser, the former March Meet champion, how about that? 592,248 for the win for Kaiser, and Scott Mason was right alongside him. Had a great race there at 596,240 for the loss for Scott Mason. Jack Harris, the first driver over 260 miles an hour in Top Fuel Dragster, the wheel of John Rodek, Paso Posse out of Paso Robles, California. Jack is Brett Harris's driver, is Brett Harris's dad. Jack will be in the near lane, the far side. Denver shoots the Raisin Farmer Fresno. Denver shoots. Check out Denver on the far side of the track. 588,251. A great speed for Denver. Jack Harris clicking it early at 6:13 at 171 miles an hour. Denver will be back in round number 2 of Top Fuel Eliminator. Former national champion Rick White and Rick Williamson, Hot Rod Bill's Top Fuel Dragster out of San Jose. Rick White from the town of San Diego, Southern California. The former national champion, the Neal and White Racing, Chuck Neal, one of those great fabricators. In fact, if you go to Glamis Thanksgiving weekend, Chuck Neal's products will be all over there. The Neal's products, pedals and turning brakes on all those sand rims. The former national champion Rick White, who had a dismal 2006, trying to defend his title, but came back in 2007 and has been right in the hunt with that 5-second runner on the far side. So Rick White and Rick Williamson. Williamson, the second-generation driver. His dad, Don Williamson, used to race the Harry Canary funny car. And the former national champ, Rick White, taking the win in the Budweiser lane at a 592. Rick Williamson was right behind him with a 594. And Rick White goes on to round 2 in Top Fuel Eliminator. Top Fuel Eliminator, round number 2. Defending Automobile Club of Southern California Hot Rod Reunion champion, Jim Murphy, a 4-time March Meet champion. And speaking of the March Meet, the 50th annual March Meet will be here the first weekend in March in 2008. And Murph is looking for win number 5. Jim Murphy out of Santa Rosa. goes up against the raisin farmer Denver Shoots out of Fresno. Denver, a guy who has driven both front-motored and the conventional rear-engine dragster. Jim Murphy, a little bit of history here. The first Nitro funny car driver over 230 miles an hour. And he did that way back in 1973 at the Ontario Motor Speedway. A good shot of Murphy in the cockpit there. These guys almost look like a space capsule at the wheel of one of these cars. Both drivers are pre-stage. Shoots the last to stage. But Jim Murphy, long gone. Jim Murphy, wow. Welcome back to the 570s. 578 at over 250 miles an hour, 253. Murphy's going to the semifinals. Denver Shoots goes 584, 247, which would win most races, but not with the guy in the other lanes going 578. Pete Kaiser and Adam Saroka. Adam Saroka, one of the few Top Fuel drivers that has those 570 time slips. He is the quickest at 570 with a 3. Qualified in the number 7 spot, which is a little bit of a surprise for that car. Pete Kaiser, a former March meet champion. So Kaiser and Saroka. Bobby Mclennan walks away from the Brian Van Dyke, Adam Saroka-driven dragster. Pete Kaiser is pre-stage. And Adam goes up and spoke. That was a little bit of a surprise. Pete Kaiser, 604, 219. Adam, the Smoky, 664. And I'll tell you, in that pair, if you told me a 604 was going to win that race, I would have taken your money right then. Jason Richie, the former Automobile Club of Southern California Hot Rod Reunion, A Fuel champion, now in Top Fuel Eliminator, Dave Smith, Nitro Fever, Pac West Trailers Dragster. Jason would like to be one of those guys that can say, hey, I'm a 2-time champion. And Shannon Stewart, Bob Richardson's circuit breaker car. The burnout by Richie. Shannon Stewart comes to the stop in the near lane. Shannon Stewart, a veteran driver at the wheel of Top Fuel dragsters, used to run his own car a number of years ago, took over the driving chores for Bob Richardson's circuit breaker. Changed from that blue paint job to the red paint job, and this car's been all of a sudden like, wow, change colors, we're going to run 580. So Richie and Stewart, Northern California, Jason Richie. In Southern California, Shannon Stewart. Starting line advantage to Jason Richie. Jason Richie, check it out. 594 and clicked it early to a 214 as Shannon Stewart was out of the throttle at 622, 194. In the final pair, in round number 2, the former national champion, Rick White, the auto-powered dragster of Chuck Neal out of San Diego, will be in the lane closest to you. And Brad Thompson, the LG blessed Visalia Harley-Davidson dragster, over on the far side of the lane he likes. Brad Thompson not only races Top Fuel Eliminator here at Auto Club Famoso Raceway, he is your Pro ET champion in the Summit ET Racing Series here at Auto Club Famoso Raceway. Thompson, who qualified in the 570s, and that is the third driver in Top Fuel Eliminator history to get a 570 elapsed time. But he's up against one of them bad Jose's and Rick White, the former national champ. Thompson in round 1 slowed to a 590. That kind of surprised a lot of us. We thought this car was going to be like on rails and click off nothing but 570 elapsed time. Brad Thompson, welcome back to the 570s. 576, and he clicked it early there at only 229 miles an hour. Rick White, 596, was coming on big time at the top end, 247 miles an hour. but Brad Thompson going to the semis. Semifinal round, top fuel eliminator. The first one, the first pair will be a bye run. As Brad Thompson, one of those 570 players, will get a bye run into the final round as Jason Richie, at the wheel of Dave Smith's Nitro Fever car, cannot make the call for the semifinal round. So Bad Brad, your Pro ET champion here at Auto Club Famoso Raceway, gets to show off for everybody and go to the final round. Now, does Brad Thompson go for lane choice, or does he just make an easy pass? Now, I'm going to go out on the limb here, and I'm going to say Bad Brad goes for it big time. They've got a couple more bullets back in the trailer there, so they don't care. So Brad Thompson on the bye run. Wow. Is 104 and 60 foot time. And check it out. The second quickest elapsed time in the history of top fuel drag racing. 570 with a 6 at only 231 miles an hour. One has to wonder, had he legged it out all the way, would he been the first car into the 560s? Brad Thompson was 211 miles an hour at half track, and that is the fastest speed at half track that we've ever seen. In the other half of the top fuel eliminator semifinal, Pete Kaiser trying to go to another final. And Jim Murphy, the WW2 Tim Murphy 2 dragster in the far lane. Murphy, the defending Automobile Club of Southern California Hot Rod Reunion champion. But man, I gotta tell you, both these drivers sat strapped in their car and they saw Brad Thompson go that great 570 elapsed time. Crew members standing behind the car waiting for Murph to pre-stage. Then they'll turn the computer on and it's all up to the driver. Murphy into the pre-stage booth. Pete Kaiser is staying in the far lane. And Jim Murphy away first on the hole shot. Jim Murphy driving away as Pete Kaiser clicks it off. 5:81.5, 2:42, and it'll be Jim Murphy and Brad Thompson in the final at Top Fuel Eliminator. Final round, Top Fuel Eliminator, the 16th annual Automobile Club of Southern California Hot Rod Reunion, presented by Holly. Pete Kaiser back in on the brake rule, the former March Meet champion. John Eric, dragster, will be in the near lane. The far side, the second quickest top fuel dragster in the history of the sport, Brad Thompson. LG Blesses Visalia-based dragster who ran 570 with a 6 in the semifinal round, and he clicked it off early. Neither one of these drivers has ever won the Automobile Club of Southern California Hot Rod Reunion Top Fuel Champion. Now, Brad Thompson needs to run 5:72.5 or quicker to set the new national record. You have to back it up within 1% of your best elapsed time. Now, I'm thinking Brad Thompson would much rather have the championship than the national record. But he's going to get greedy. He's probably going to go for both of them. Pete Kaiser has been in the 580s all weekend, and he'd like to just 580 him to death and hope that Brad Thompson makes a mistake. Pre-race burnouts are done. This is it. Both drivers are into the stage piece. Thompson and Kaiser. And look at Brad Thompson. Check it out. Brad Thompson, a qualifier for Pete Kaiser. Thompson, 570 with a 1, sets up the new national record.